Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Right here from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, I welcome you to Enterprise Weekend on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwebike. With few days to Christmas and a gradual build-up to the new year, we are very excited to have you join us for yet another interesting episode of our daily newspaper reviews. With me in the studios to do just that are two gentlemen who are journalists and public affairs analysts. I welcome Mr. Innocent Aduluba.
Good morning, Merry
Thank
Christmas.
You for Merry Christmas to you too, and Mr. Elvis Emefiele.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much for
Merry
Christmas to you, sir. Thank you so very much for joining us. And please, to our viewers, I would recommend that you follow, like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV 7. Press the notification bell so you get notified whenever we drop our content. So let's go straight to our newspaper headlines for today. And starting up, we go to the Daily Trust newspaper, and the big story there says ECOWAS stands on Niger, not dictated by France, Ambassador Tugar. And on the right there, it says Nigeria-Niger relationship solid. We are working towards common currency in West Africa. As stands for two-state solution in Palestine, best way out. And on the top slip of the newspaper, we have how Emefiele used proxies to buy Union Keystone Polaris Bank. Late Ismaila Fontua fingered hurdles as Ganduje moves to stabilize APC and capture more states. Gentlemen, let's dig a bit into one of the headlines that made the story on the Daily Trust, and that is on the issue of ECOWAS standing on Niger, not dictated by France. Are we seeing a little shift in the discourse here? Because we all know that before now, ECOWAS, routed for the fact that in Niger, should regain back its democracy, right? And now it is saying that it is standing strong on the fact that Niger is not being dictated by France. Can you help us make sense of that
I think ECOWAS,
story?
ECOWAS is a body that ought not to have anything to do with France as far as this matter with Niger is concerned. They took their stand when that coup came up. And their stance became very unpopular.
Yes, it's true.
And as a result, they have to look for a soft landing, to avoid embarrassment.
Exactly.
Because the Nigerians were so much with the military junta, and even till now.
Yes.
And as a result, the ECOWAS initial threat, or they gave an ultimatum that within 2 weeks, that they were going to, bring down the junta and reinstate Bazoum
Yes.
to
the seat of power.
Yes, to the seat of power. But unfortunately, they discovered that within the time frame they gave, the junta began to garner more support, and they began to become popular, even within the country and even some other countries outside Niger, like Benin Republic, Burkina Faso and Mali.
Exactly.
Became strong ally to even Chad, to the Nigerian junta. So this story that is coming up this morning, I don't think France has, ECOWAS is working in tandem with France. France, definitely we know that they've exploited Niger over the years.
For some time.
And as a result, part of what led to this coup is that France never did what they were supposed to do.
Exactly.
As the colonial fathers
as colonialists,
to Nigerian government. Imagine a country with such mineral cannot even boast of electricity in almost 80% of the country. The poverty level is alarming. Like I told you last time, that most of the people that ride motorcycle in Nigeria, they're actually Nigerians who out of poverty, strolled into Nigeria and got riding Okada as one of the best jobs, that is paying off for them. Then the insecurity. They have a military base. France has a military base. Even in spite of that, the insecurity is alarming. So when this opportunity came for them to flush out their colonial master, they didn't hesitate. I was seeing a headline yesterday that they were closing their embassy in France.
That's France were closing their embassy in Niger.
And I said, it's welcome. If as a founding father you cannot do what you're supposed to do, then it's better you have to take a leave.
Mr. Innocent, do you think ECOWAS is trying to play two double-edged sword? Because it seems to me like they are trying to play towards France to appease them, at the same time trying to play on the interest of Nigerians.
Well, it's a delicate topic. Thank you. Colonialism, post-colonialism, imperialism. It makes me wonder the intent of the appetite for liberation the Africans claim to have. Like you mentioned, military base in Niger. Why? Why should one country have a military base in another country? Does Nigeria have a military base outside Nigeria? Do we have it?
No, we don't. We don't.
So why should maybe the US or France or the UK have here? Everybody stay in your country. But globally, we are hearing globalization. It's a sweet word, but it's a euphemism for the expansion of the border of one country into another. However we look at it. So again, the voices of, let me use the word, core African liberation, the voices of those people are relegated. George Weah, the president of Liberia, who just lost his election, at the time said, Niger, the soldiers are doing the right thing. You are taking back your resources. You can hear what he told you about the economic well-being of individuals in a country globally acknowledged to be rich in uranium.
Yeah.
So there is such.
But amongst the most poorest nations in the world.
Africa, in the mid 19th century, were clamoring for independence. We saw that in Ghana. We saw that here in Nigeria 2 years after Ghana in 1960. And there was that wave of independence running into the 70s. You've gotten your independence. When Nigeria, if you ask me, was completely independent politically, economically, we had 1 naira to 2 UK pounds, or 2 UK pounds exchanged for 1 naira. You had your flourishing textile companies, you had Dunlop, rubber, they were manufacturing. But by the time we decided to collapse our naira and go borrowing, align here and there, see where we are. So I think ECOWAS should, and then I would say this, ECOWAS have been demystified by the incidents in Niger. When the records are written, ECOWAS to me has failed to rally around Niger. And the tag democracy does not satisfy agitations in Niger for the claim to own and administer their resources. And by extension, ECOWAS should look at the general African picture through African Union and see how Africa can be self-determinant. The stories stretch to Congo. So I think Africans harnessing their resources efficiently and transparently may not totally depend on foreign direct investment to thrive. That's where I'll drop my line.
Okay, fine. Now, let's juxtapose all of this we have just enumerated now to the second big story here on Daily Trust that says hurdles as Ganduje moves to stabilize APC, capture more states. Now, do you think in 2023, is this what we should be speaking about and discussing about and making it an issue in the public space when Africa and indeed Nigeria needs fast development? And here are prominent people talking about capturing more states for APC. Does it make any sense, Mr. Elvis?
Well, what you should understand is that immediately after election, the next election timetable is what the politicians are looking onto. The politicians have put everything behind 2023 general election behind them, and they are looking onto 2027. So everything about politicians is how to expand their frontier, have more states, whether legal or illegal, especially what we're seeing in Nigeria now, that even if the election is not favorable to the people, the next thing they say, go to court. And when you get to court, the court has also become an issue. So what Ganduje is saying there, Ganduje was actually brought in for this purpose. Remember how the Baba Adamu Abdullahi was, disgraced out of office, even though they said he resigned. I knew Baba did not resign. But this was what he's meant to come and do. And that was what I was telling you, that part of what you are seeing in Rivers State is those parts of the states that are, planning to capture. Ondo, they already have Ondo, but the present, the governor of Ondo that is, that is ill at the moment, Akeredolu, was not in the same camp with the president. So at this moment, they are looking at how they are going to bring in their person. That's why the deputy was having an issue. The president and the leadership of APC knows whom they are looking for, whom they are going to, bring in for Ondo when the election comes up. Remember, Edo is coming up. Yeah.
So what's your stake? This is the state you're coming from. It's your state. Do you think Ganduje has a stake?
Edo is coming
to
up.
pick Edo State.
You know what happened in 2019, 2020 Edo election? Yeah. It was tough. With using the former chairman there, the former chairman Adam Sokuchomole, wanting to use him, to bring in the unpopular candidate that the Edo people never want. That is Pastor Ize Yamu, whom Mochomole told us before that he was a thief, but he rebranded him and started telling us that this is the right person. He had repented. He was repented and started telling us that this is the best person. So Edo is another state to look out for in this 2024 election that is coming, because Ganduje has a purpose. Of all the money that APC spent in Edo then, my people will say, I collect them, but I know my person when I want to vote. It's a popular language in my place. So they shared all the money, and at the end of the day, they never voted for APC. But this time around, the battle is really going to be tough, because the strategist is not the president of Nigeria. He was at the sideline, trying to finance and capture Edo then. That way they use there. But we are going to see more of that when the time comes. So we are of the opinion. That's why I keep on saying that the other political parties, if they know they cannot do well in any election, the best thing is to form an alliance, begin to form coalition.
But how much of an alliance when we know that the favorite could from our president grab it, take it, and run with it? No, it's still in existence.
Yeah, it is. But the people must not sell their conscience, and the people must live to defend their vote. That was what happened in the Obasanjo's election. They voted and they defended their vote. They collected their money quite well, but they voted their choice and they defended it. That's what we are talking about. If the people accept democracy and the party that they belong to, they feel the party has done so well for them, they can go extra mile in defending the vote for that party.
Well, all right, let's move to our next daily for today, and this is coming from the Guardian newspaper, and the big story says there, Yuletide travels, discordant tunes thrill federal government's interstate fare slash. And the big story on the top slip of the same newspaper we have, with fuel subsidy removal, there shouldn't be room for deficit in 2024 budget. And also we have on the downslip of the same newspaper, I will be fair to all Nigerians, Tinubu declares, and that is coming from page 3 of the same newspaper. Mr. Innocent, the big story on The Guardian says, discordant tunes thrill federal government's interstate fare slash. Now, the question I ask is this. Why is it difficult for the president to understand that Nigerians are a kind of people that are not dependent on stipends? Nigerians are not that kind of people that want you to feed them. They want you to create an enabling environment so they can pay for their transport fare themselves. Why is President Tinubu bringing this carrot and stick leadership style. Why do you think that is coming right about now? Of course, we know the inefficiency even in the 50% transport cut slash. What do you have to say about that?
There are popular quotes from Professor Wallace Soyinka, who says the government weaponizes poverty. And that simply means there is a deliberate orchestration to make me poor so that I can come and beg you or look up to you. Then when you help me, I'll be looking at you as a benefactor. It seems that's what the government is doing at this time. And you remember the same APC government under an intellectual like Professor Emefiele go to the marketplace to physically share cash, 10,000 naira.
Trader money.
Trader money. The total of that cannot be ascertained. Now imagine if you take that kind of money to start, that's my worry, to start the textile industry. The money shared at the market, people have eaten it and gone away. Yeah. That industry will stand. I will work there. I will die. My son will work there. It's a permanent thing. There are institutions of employment today that have outlived the founders. The economy is hard. Borders are shut. Where food imports were coming in are shut. Farmers are not allowed to farm.
Insecurity.
And I keep repeating it on this table. There was a headline that the headsmen are threatening farmers to pay a particular amount before they are allowed
they
to
can
go
access
to their
farm
to harvest their crops. I would see this as a security tip for you to ambush those coming to collect whatever. So with all of this, what the federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu find as a solution is to reduce transport costs.
For 15 days.
And after that, what happens? After that, would farmers farm free? Would food be surplus? Would transport fare reduce? Would bills be paid without sweat? So these are temporal massage. After that, if the bone is nowhere, if the fracture is nowhere treated, let's put it to a footballer. You didn't treat his fracture well. You just you inject him painkillers, and you leave him. After that match that they've won and celebrated, his career will be at stake. So I'm rounding up to say that this, okay, if you do this, it's also sectional. So as Nigerians, we don't need palliatives in between. You are traveling, you benefited. Me that is not traveling, what's my benefit?
Exactly. So what makes you feel, I know you are not a part of the team of Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but what do you think make you feel that Tinubu is comfortable with an unsustainable economy style of governance? What do you think makes him feel it is sustainable? And how do you think we can start putting it up to them to understand that this style is not sustainable?
I think what is happening is that most times when they are campaigning for the presidency of this nation, they don't know what Nigerians need.
Do you think they don't know what Nigerians need, or they pretend not to know what Nigerians need?
They don't know. That is just it. If they know, even if they pretend, and what we are singing in this studio this morning is like a reminder. So if you hear and you refuse to do it, means you don't know and you don't want to do it. That's what goes on. Okay. Tinubu was close to the people even before he became president.
Yes.
And even when he was in ADECO, he knows what Nigerians were going through. And he was a very strong member of ADECO. He was a strong member of those that said June 12 must stay. And June 12 was, the mantra of June 12 was to eradicate poverty. Abiola was to eradicate poverty from Nigerians. And he came now and, and rebranded it and called it renewed hope. Abiola's mantra was hope, 93.
Okay.
His campaign
Abiola's
mantra.
mantra.
Campaign mantra was Hope 93. So he came now and he said renewed hope. If you are renewed hope and you believe that part of those things you need to renew was to take out poverty from Nigerians, why these policies somersault? Why these temporary policies that is only for 15 days? Nigerians travel, few that can travel, and many you know, it's even going to end on the 4th. For those that are going to stay beyond 4th of January, they are going to find a way to come back. Is that a policy?
And the funny thing, sir, is that, you know, travelers from Lagos to Akwa Ibom to Calabar are even saying their routes is not even included.
It's not included in here. I mean, imagine that's even one of the longest routes, you know, that anybody would have considered as part of. And you know the volume of people that goes to that part of Nigeria is not captured. So a situation where you just come in, you know, I mean, that policy was announced to Nigeria on Wednesday. Nobody heard of it.
How about those who may have already traveled?
Some people have traveled, and look at the way Nigeria Railway Corporation is even doing it, that you have to book ahead and be validated before you come to the station. So people traveled without even booking, and their validation may not happen in their respective villages as a result of network, so they cannot even follow it back. So I still wonder who are those that are planning these kind of policies. But let us believe that 2024, when after the approval of their budget and you know they come to stay, that we will not be seeing this movement of going a little bit forward and moving backward, policies that are not beneficial to Nigerians. Because I mean, students that are on holidays are not resuming by 4th.
Yes. Schools
are going to resume by 8th, which means they cannot go back with the same transport system if really they benefited from it now. So I'm not seeing any help from this, but I believe too well that we are putting records of what we have observed from this government since May 29th.
Since May 29th. All right, let's move on straight to our last daily for today, and it is coming from the Saturday Independent. And the big story there says, spiraling inflation. Nigerians may become poorer, lose jobs in 2024, farmers economist warns. And the writer there says, analyst task government on devolution of power. Hunger may trigger revolution, lawyers. And we have the image of Peter Obi and his statement there. It says Obi applauds federal government over 50% transportation slash, expresses worries as transporters deny knowledge of the discount. On the downslip of the newspaper, we have Christmas holiday. I will remain fair to all Nigerians. Tinubu. Mr. Innocent, it still boils down to, an afterthought from earlier discussion on the last daily we took. And it says Nigerians may become poorer, lose jobs in 2024. Farmers economist warn the government. And let's continue from that discussion, because it seems to me every other time that Tinubu is very comfortable. I do not want to think, that possibly because he had it very easy in Lagos since 1999 till about this time, he had it very easy, because I feel that knowing that Lagos State is a state under a bigger umbrella called Nigeria, so there are lots of things the Nigerian state would have, reduced or taken out of Lagos State. Now the question is, do you think Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is still thinking in that little, space, that if he could have it good in Lagos State, then probably he would equally have it well as a Nigerian state being the president?
I wouldn't say President Tinubu is comfortable, but for the optics, the common Nigerian believes every politician appointed, elected, up to a local government chairman, member of House of Assembly, councillor, are comfortable. None of them are owed. You see the size of this Senate and government money. You will hear they are owing policemen, who collect stipends. They are owing teachers.
Doctor, even as important as medical doctors.
They are owing medical doctors. But none of the government people are ever owed. I've not heard that the National Assembly people are owed. So, beyond President Tinubu, the average Nigerian believes if the jackpot you hear, you can jackpot from poverty into
wealth. Oh, okay.
Yes, and you'll be comfortable. So I don't want to believe it's a President Tinubu thing alone. I don't know if I'm making sense.
It's politicians.
The governor of Lagos State or any other state, a commissioner in Edo State or any other state, a PEMSEC in KB are comfortable. It now looks like the political class enjoy poverty immunity in Nigeria. That's what it looks like. Have you seen any senator who is not comfortable, or a House of Rep member, or you know? So and within this is where Nigerians are miffed by messages from the government saying tolerate, endure. When you telling them there's nothing endurance around you.
Tie your bets.
You know, there are presidents outside this country, in the US, who have reduced tax for the masses because of the harsh economy. You know, there are presidents who, in the US, gave up their presidential yachts and boats, and from that time till now, it's no more in use by successive, so that they can be seen to be living Spartan lifestyle. There are political leaders in Holland, Spain, Belgium who go to work on bicycles. To how do I put it? To demonstrate to the masses that we are part of you. So that here it is usually the governing elite versus the masses. You stand on the road, let somebody be coming to town. A 2-lane road, a dual carriageway, one of it will be blocked. And when you juxtapose the population of the deprived for that lane versus the visitor coming, even the triumphal entry of Jesus Christ, there were no barricades. And so, the government people are comfortable. Okay? How do you get fuel? How do you queue? You think they pass through that?
No, at all.
You think they pass through that? A governor is about to go to a meeting in even Abuja or Port Harcourt. Flights are
available.
I'm talking local. Not to talk of how they globetrot. They are comfortable. They are comfortable. And take it also, they are also aware of the extent of pain and poverty in this country. Let's not say they are not aware. They are. The irony is we borrow democracy into Nigeria. Globally, an elected representative of a place, a House of Assembly, a House of Rep, Federal Senate, don't live in the country's capital. You are from Edo State. Your senator cannot live in Abuja. Your senator attends Senate sittings in Abuja and stays in his local
constituency.
Yes. Yes, that's the global practice. We borrowed democracy into Nigeria. We reinvented it. So if that was the case, we can now say our senators daily are seeing the woman fanning firewood to cook, or seeing a deep gutter in the middle of the street, or seeing that there are dilapidations physically around. Many senators have bought Senate quarters in Abuja and are staying there. Whenever they visit their locality, it's like a king. All of us will run to the road. If you are lucky, cash is thrown. We scramble, get bruised to pick it up. Or while they are around, that's the maker in that area. We go there, and oh boy, you don't go, I don't collect you. So they are comfortable. And again, it's public knowledge what they allocate to themselves. A governor, after 4 years, becomes pensionable. A teacher, 35 years, is dying on a queue waiting for pension, policemen. So these guys are comfortable.
Now, if we might go back, to the history books and juxtapose a comparison between the end of the First Republic, right, and what happens now, and the reason why the First Republic was ended in a coup d'etat, would you say that it's almost insympathical? What happened that ended the First Republic is equal to what our politicians are doing now?
Yeah, even in the First Republic, when the coup came, the coup mentioned so much about corruption. Corruption has always been an issue in this nation. But what we are seeing now is that we are seeing corruption now, digitized.
Okay, rebranded corruption.
Yes, that's what we are seeing now.
Digital corruption.
Yes, that's what we are seeing now. As at then, if there was still this kind of legacy that even when you bring a car home, and you cannot account for that, how you got money for that car, there may be nobody that will drive that car with you. Somebody will tell you, that family, don't associate with them because their ways are not clean. But today, parents are buying laptop for their children to get involved in
Yahoo.
Parents are now sponsoring their children, to be involved in crime. It was not that way. It's reversed. Now, as I said, it has become digitized. But the politicians made it so that what my friend was just saying here just now will continue to remain. If they, impoverish the people and make the people look like second class, whatever policy they throw at us, will rush it and begin to praise them. I was watching TV last night. I saw some people happy because of this slash.
This slash 50% slash.
They refunded the half of my money. I was just looking at it. That is for 2024. You are going. You don't even know when you are going to. How you are going to come back.
How are you going to come back?
You understand?
Yes.
So
because obviously most of them would extend past efforts.
They are already commending them, applauding them for just 15 days palliative. For a whole year or 365 days. This is why they are taking us for a ride, because they know what we are made of. They know our antecedents. If we, the masses, the owner of democracy, the people that own democracy, can stand and say, no, this is not what we want. Enough of this. The politicians can, I don't know from the same village you come from. They have villages. If you are blaring your siren into the village, and some of the youth in the village have no job, who cannot pay their children's school fees, no hospital for them to attend, and say, no. We gave you this opportunity to make everybody to feel better, not just for you. If such, protests start coming from the constituency, from all these elected members of the National Assembly, or even the executive governors that are elected, things will begin to change. That's why you see France has a lot of protests. Protest is like taught in school in France. Every policy the government takes, the people interpret it. And if it's not suitable...
And react.
Yes, if it's not suitable to them, they occupy. Until we begin to do that, until we begin to make them know that democracy belongs to us, not them. They are just custodian. Hold it for me. Because in 4 years' time, they are going to come back. You made mention of 4 years. After 4 years, you don't state the perks that are associated with their so-called pension. They have the house in their state capital and in Abuja. Cars to be changed every 2 years or 3 years. Retinue of domestic staff and security and all others. The state is still servicing them as if they are serving. The money for that can pay teacher's salary for a year for just one person.
I'm sorry, sir, as we speak, there are former governors enjoying such pensions. Now senators. Receiving the benefits of them.
Of all of them in the House, in the National Assembly, they all are senators, they are former governors. Only 2 of them says that, no, please stop my pension.
As governor.
Only 2. The rest are enjoying both from the state and enjoying from the federal. Then a situation where you win election, you close your office and pack down to Abuja. Have made it to be too expensive. Abuja is supposed to be an administrative headquarters like we are talking about here. If democracy was actually going to be followed the way it is practiced and where we borrowed it, that you only visit Abuja and sit, you know, for meetings and come back and face your business and know where the shoe pitches your people. But the reverse is the case in Nigeria.
The reverse is indeed the case in Nigeria. And just like Mr. Emefiele did say, that politicians should understand that democracy, they are just holding it for Nigerians. And it's very important that they do the needful to ensure that Nigeria becomes the country we all wish it would be in the nearest future. It was an awesome discussion, of course, but that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. I'd love to say thank you, Mr. Elvis Emefiele, for being part of our show. Mr. Innocent Aduluwa, thank you so very much for also being part of our show today. So when we return, Godwin Emefiele to defend self in court over stashed funds after 593 bank accounts located in UK, US, and China were discovered without authorization by the Board and Investment Committee of the CBN. I'll be back in a jiffy. Please don't go anywhere. It's still Enterprise Weekend.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.